After we felt like we had a healthy caucus meeting last Thursday, and a lot of discussion was made about the budget. And
Senator Schaefer did a great
job,
an
excellent job
in committee, and putting an additional $20 million in higher education and public education over the governor and the House's recommendations.
That's an annual budget.
I think in its balance, I think the difficulty existed, and you've seen it somewhat on the floor this year, is we all know that we're going to have a difficult year next year because we are using some one-time money to plug into the budget. There's some lapse funds and other things. And, as we did last year, I really thought the Senate showed leadership on not only making the structural changes of the budget, but also addressing a number of the policy decisions. And I think we were frustrated that more of those weren't taken up and dealt with last year. And as we look at kind of the discussions this year, I just think there's a realization that where the governor would have to be and where the House would have to be in order to make some of those changes, that it's, if they're not on board now, it's probably not going to happen. And so, we were going to do the work that we could, and Senator Schaefer did that. And I think there's still some difficult changes in this budget, some things that are being cut in this budget. And so, we've had to cut the budget last year. We're cutting it in areas this year. Protecting education is a priority to the best of our ability, and then, as was pointed out by a few senators on the floor, we're going to have some painful decisions to make next year as well. And the governor will have the opportunity to take a leadership role in that.
When talking with Senator Lemke about that bill, he basically said that the money was supplanting other holes in the budget and would, be kicking the can down the road for one thing, but also he wanted to, make a statement against federal stimulus dollars. For the first part of that question, would you say that's a valid point?
I see his point, because what he's talking about is kind of the governor's proposal that I guess kind of with a wink and a nod, that the $190 million in supplemental would be held by administrators and kind of used to plug what would be a $190 million cut to education next year, to hold it, I guess, flat over a 2-year period. So, I mean, that's basically what he's doing with his budget, and I think that's what Senator Lemke was referencing.
I think he might have also been saying that if this $189 million wasn't there, y'all would find the money to keep education as close to flat, or if not flat, and that you'd be making cuts elsewhere, and that you ought to be doing it right now.
Right. Right.
Is that a realistic way to approach budgeting 1, 2, 3 years out, thinking, well, something might happen to us in 2 years, so we need to act now?
Are you questioning Senator Lemke's?
I'm questioning,
line of thinking?
Is that the way? Is that any
well,
way
I mean,
you would feel
there
like
is
it's the way to
some
approach
challenge to that, because if you look at where we were, let's say in July of last year, and we were expecting a $700 million shortfall last year, and then revenue estimates have been coming in better than the budget projection. So, I mean, we're not all economists in this room. We all have a different perspective, I think, but we do see that program growth is included in the budget, and what's that terminology, budget terminology?
Mandatory increases.
Mandatory increases. That those are a part of the budget, and to look at where we need to be, you need to reach some growth numbers that would be extremely rosy next year.